Yo.
Yeah, can you guys hear me now? I switched the forgetting sound out of my webcam now. I'm not sure what happened with the Yeti. Interesting. Hello, hello. I was basically just apologizing for being MIA this past week. Had a lot of um, music's coming out. The EP is coming out pretty soon. I had a big show that I had to get ready for this weekend to kind of prep the EP release, which is on 420. I got featured in a super dope magazine, a um, called Top Shelf. They used to be a big reggae magazine, but now they're doing shit with Snoop Dogg and I don't know. They name dropped some other names, but I didn't know who they were and couldn't remember. Anywho, uh,
Check, check. There we go. I got the old Yeti running again. Hopefully you guys. Yo. Um. You guys ever been down that rabbit hole of basically um. Woo. Never mind. We'll talk about that one after. All right, so I wanted to title this video, but I wasn't sure how to word it. The title was too long and it wouldn't let it fit. But it was your religious views, um, your spiritual practices are all more or less nothing more than interesting views on life. A sort of a criticism on how serious we take all of our belief structures, even like the ones that you and I follow. You know what I mean? That are like, um, all of them, whether it's ancient chem or Mama Africa or even something from Earth. Period. So hear me out. Okay, you guys can hear me. Too many frogs? Really? Maybe it's loud for you guys. Is there too many frogs? I like the frogs. I do. I like the frogs. Um, Anywho, so basically, this is what happened in my thought process. I thought the absolute that sort of overwhelming need to find it, whatever we're looking for, whatever that like spiritual practice is, whatever that meditation is, whatever that song is. Um, it's like what's the point of believing in anything that's come from planet Earth, period? You know, because if we're all searching for the one, that means all the other ones are illusions or not real. And then to think you can find that on Earth, of the billions of planets in the existence, or does it all manifest the same way across all planets? In other words, your Buddhist mantra, if that's the one that unlocks the 432 hertz, and that's the one that you have to chant to do the thing that you have to do, is that the same exact thing that they're doing on Mars or on planet whatever that I can't even pronounce? Like, what if they don't have mouths or eye? Like, and so that's where that thought came from. Like, all right, well, thinking realistically in a universe with an infinite amount of creatures and therefore an infinite amount of varying philosophies, or I should say practices, um, but you guys want to know my thoughts on COVID passports? We can do COVID passport. I think they're fucking tyrannical. I think it doesn't get more tyrannical than vaccine passports. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what? I think they're an absolute joke. I think vaccine passports are an absolute joke. However, I've seen my buddy who was on the live last week just posted how vaccinepassport.com, .org, .info, and whatever the other dot is have all been taken in 2016-17. Like, they're running these COVID trial tests at the beginning of 2019. Like, I don't, man, this COVID thing, I used to be on the fence. I used to be like, well, what if I'm wrong? Keith, you're an influencer. People take what you say to heart, so you got to be mindful of the things that you share online. And so I've always been sort of passively outspoken. I'm like, I'm not quite Jesus. You know what I mean? I'm not like throwing over desks and shit in the middle of the plaza. Like, that's not my style. Nothing against my boy Jesus, it's just not my style. But I'm definitely still spoken, but like I said, but passive. But I fucking can't anymore. Like, it's like the question's actually in line with the video. Wake the fuck up. I don't know what it's going to take for people to wake the fuck up. It is above and beyond my comprehension, which is a vast fucking comprehension. There are mountains of books, documents, articles, papers, people speaking out on all the fucked up shit that goes on in the world, like all the corruption with 9/11 and the weapons of mass destruction that never existed, and then bin Laden, he's a bad guy terrorist, was trained by the CIA. And it's like, It's like the no footage of the airplane crashing into the Pentagon on 9/11, one of the most heavily fortified buildings in the nation, and not one camera catches the plane fucking hitting the building type of shit. Or like the 2.3 trillion that disappears from the Pentagon the day before 9/11 hits. And then like and with the COVID stuff, like you got the governors who are pushing vaccines, giving press conferences, going, "Oh, hey, you guys, just so you know, just so we're clear, Dr. Ngazi Ziki, Public Health Director of the state of Chicago of Illinois." She goes, "Hey guys, let me be clear. Even if you die of a clear alternate death other than COVID, even if that's the clearest day that COVID for sure didn't kill you, if it was in your blood at the time of death, it's added to the tally of the COVID deaths." She says as low as 6%. Just saw the article the other day, 500,000 people dead from COVID. COVID. This isn't a conspiracy. This is to wake the fucking shit up. This isn't a goonball with a tinfoil hat on YouTube, somewhere balls deep in the depths of the booty hole of YouTube. This is Ngazi Ziki. You can look this up right now. 6%. What's 6% of 500,000? It's 6 of 100, so 6 times 5 is 35. So 35,000 deaths directly caused from COVID out of the belly, of the mouth of the beast herself. And people still, they're well, I don't know what's going on. This is fucking madness. What up, JDs? How's it going? What up, Caleb, Bodie, Richie? Everything sounds good. Welcome, cool. It's fun. I usually chill when I burn the oregano, but like this time I'm fired up. I even got another one locked and loaded. I'm just getting tired. I'm tired. Fucking sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like this shit. It's yeah, I got my business going and I'm making a lot of money right now, and like connections are going through, and like things just as long as I'm sort of focused and consistent but relaxed at the same time, and I'm doing the things that I've been training the past decade to do. It's up and down, but it's a steady, you know what I mean? As long as I do like my life, basically. I'm describing my life. Just like you guys have your own version of that. So I forget that the fucking madness that's going on outside of my immediate sphere is just a load of horse shit. Like, no, not even. Actually, that's insulting. That's actually insulting to call it horse shit, because I actually really like horse shit. Get a whole bunch of horse shit, you throw it in the oven for 45 minutes at about 160 degrees, pasteurize it. You can grow some phenomenal mushrooms. You could save the world with horse shit. You can't save the world with COVID. Sure as hell can destroy it though. So no, I don't even want to sully the name of horse doo doo by saying that that's what this is. It's going on. Um, I it, there was something I looked up a while ago. Um, I actually didn't look it up. It came up and it said when you I think I got this from that condescending fucking scientist that I always hate on. What's his name? The black guy with the mustache. You know who I'm talking about. It could just be I could just be something that I'm hating on. Anywho, he said this because he was talking about crazy conspiracy theorists believing weird shit like corruption from the top. Oh, conspiracy theorists. Anywho, he said whenever you're in a debate with someone discussing the reality of the nature of something, you're going back and forth. You look at that person and you go, what piece of evidence could I give you that would change your mind? So instead of putting out all sorts of, this is actually a good tactic, not even in debating, because it's actually a really useful thing to do to have a real conversation. So you shortcut instead of trying to present all these miscellaneous facts about a certain thing, hoping that one of them sticks. You ask them straight up. You say, "Hey, I understand that you don't believe me. You don't believe what I'm telling you. I get it. There's a lot of stuff that I don't believe that people tell me. We have that in common. Boom. Somewhere where we can meet in the middle. And you go, okay, good sir or good lady. What's a piece of information that I could tell you that would cause you to drop your entire acceptance of reality and take on my version of reality? What piece of information do I have to give you to make you say, okay, Keith, you're right and I'm wrong? And I'm going to thoroughly and immediately drop my belief system that I have just found out with new valid information that I've determined myself, and I will shed that useless cloth, and I will take on this new shroud of integrity plus five character or charisma or something. You know what I mean? Um, and that's where you start from. So let's say something with COVID or these vaccine passports or things. You could say, okay, but in reference to that story that I just gave you, I don't know what people like. I genuinely cannot think of an example of that, of something, a piece of information that you could give them that would make them change their minds, because the news, or at least the politicians, the authority who's in power, that's on their side, that's pro vaccine. So their own side told them that the numbers were skewed, right? They didn't have to go to, so it's not like it's biased, is what I'm getting at. And she said verbatim the words, let me be clear, right? So there's no confusion, because she goes, that was a question. Hey, there's a lot of confusion about COVID deaths and what's being marked. Like, well, how are you guys tallying COVID deaths? And she says, let me be clear. You could die of a clear alternate cause, and we're still going to chalk your ass up for a COVID death. And then they plug that number into the CNN newsreel, 500, 520,000. Not to mention, the flu was damn near vanished. Hundreds of thousands of flu cases every year all of a sudden is just gone. Like, from masks? We haven't even done that from the so-called vaccines. And you're telling me a year of masks is just all of a sudden just eradicated the flu? What the fuck? Masks that don't stop the flu, by the way. Masks don't stop the flu. Putting a piece of cloth over your face is not going to stop a virus, let alone a bacteria. And a virus is like hundreds of, or if not thousands of times smaller than bacteria. And masks don't even stop. Like, you guys, this is fucking insanity. Like, it's fucking great. I say it all the time. It's like people are. It's like they're pissing on us without even the courtesy of calling it rain. And I used to say that as a joke because I was like, "Oh, what a clever saying," Because if I know, at least if they pissed on you, they could say it's raining. But no, they're like pissing on you, and they're going, "Hey, no, it's not rain. It's just my piss. This is my piss. I pee and I do it on. I aim in your direction. I try to hit you. I don't always, but like I usually land around you. But most of the time I hit you because I've been getting good at pissing on you. It's 100%. This is piss, not rain. That's what they're doing. For example, hey you guys, only 6% of the tally that we're telling you is directly related to COVID. Everything else is like 2, 3, 4 fucking things deep of other causes. Hit by a car, for example, falling down a flight of stairs is one of them. This dude fell off of a ladder and they blamed it on COVID for his death. Like, so she tells people 6%. And then she goes, so anywho, you really got to get those vaccines. If not, you could die. Of course you could die, but you just told me 6% of the numbers of the tens of millions of the billions of people on the planet. And the fact that I have to even talk about this shit, like that I have to even like it's I don't want to say people suck. I don't want to be that spiteful. I just think that those who are the archons, those who are in power, Like they're getting really fucking good at their job, man. Like they've been doing this manipulation shit. Honestly, who's to say they haven't been doing this shit since day one, since Sumeria and beyond? Like who's to say that? Right, because the 1% want to keep the power, like the uber powerful, you guys, the ones who you don't, not the Rockefellers or maybe them, but the ones who you don't hear about because they're like, if you drop our name anywhere in the public, you will be shot immediately. So the ones we don't hear about, because I imagine it like this. Hear me out. You have two countries and they're fighting and they're one wins, one loses. You transfer the ruling class is always the entity that steps into the new territory first. So they get first access to the information and knowledge of the previous culture. They get access to the wealth, to the riches, to the materials, right? The most valuable assets of any growth that happens first goes to the ruling class, and then they decide what they want to dish down. I don't give a fuck if it's capitalism, if it's socialism, if it's fucking feudalism, if it's communism. Like I don't care what. Give fucking what's in a name, right? Or what's in a name they call a rose by any other name. But I always want to quote. I should really memorize that quote. But you guys get what I'm saying. It's all a fucking facade. Red versus blue, man versus woman, fucking um, rich versus poor. That's the trickiest one, right? Because you would assume that the powerful are the richest, but so like all rich people are evil. Like what an interesting tactic to use to make all the peasants think that not being peasants is actually not in their favor. It's actually, hey peasants, it's actually better that you stay peasants because once you start getting more money, you become corrupt, and you don't want to be corrupt because you're a very virtuous person, right? So you just be nice and passive and peaceful, and you turn the other cheek, and if we piss on you, just assume it's rain, or just if we piss on you, and it's not rain, assume that like we didn't know you were there or something. You know what I mean? Just go with the flow, right? Just go with the flow. Like, hey man, go with the flow. Be cool. Go with the flow. A little fucking too much going with the flow going on these days, you guys, is what I'm getting at. A little too much. A little too much going with the flow these days. All right, I get it, man. You gotta Bruce Lee that shit. Water, water can crash, or it can flow. Be water, my friend. But time and place. Time and place. Bruce Lee wasn't no punk bitch. He punch you in the face. Look at Bruce Lee sideways, he will punch you in the face. I've seen him do it a number of times. A lot of times. So. I'm gonna peep your guys' comment section. Jai, what's cracking? We get the check and the chemo trails and forget everything. I know. May your faith in the light of God be everlasting, and may the lights of the great God Goddess within you all be eternally luminous. Jesus loves you. Peace be with you. All right, Harley Huffman. Just so you know, Harley Huffman, Jesus was a mushroom. You can protect your family and survive in the natural if this economy is ending. I mean, this economy is not going to end, you guys. The whole. Here's my prediction. It's not going to end. It's not in the best interest of those in power to destroy everything. You know what I mean? We've built up at least the first world countries, the powerhouses of the world, as far as concentrated funds and resources to develop technology. we've come a really, really, really long way. And for the masses to riot, revolt, and destroy everything, the roads, the infrastructure, um, prices for goods, like there has to be a certain level of productivity from the lower class in order for the rich class to stay afloat. So there's always going to be just enough. You know what I mean? There's always going to be just enough things to, like someone said in the comment, stimulus check or tax rebates, or hey, you don't have to pay your rent during COVID, you can pay it back after. Things like that where people are like, oh really, I don't have to pay rent for these few months, and I get a check. I don't have to work, and I get free money. Like, hooray! You know what I mean? What, like, don't get me wrong, it's cool, like, kind of. But again, big picture, the $2.3 trillion that disappeared out of the Pentagon, that they were like, we don't know what happened to it. Could have been the stimulus check on steroids. We would have been fucking set. Every citizen, what about you got? House, land, 40 acres and a mule. Like, the government don't give a shit about you. You know what I mean? Like, it, it fucking. I'm gonna tell you something that you guys might not like. You might not like. The government does not care about you, and when it does things like stimulus checks, like their so-called healthcare system, like their so-called free public things that you can access, most of which run like shit. If they're actually free, parks or things, I mean, they're actually free, you don't have to pay to get into. It fucking sucks ass. The government will only ever do so much as to keep you complacent. That's it. I'm probably gonna have to delete this video after, because shit like this gets heat. It really does, and it sucks. But I've noticed that when people come in hot on decently sized channels, that weird shit starts happening. Anywho, it's just complacency. The fluoride in your drinking water, they use fluoride. The One of the first times it went on record in a study and being used in the population was by Hitler on all the people he had in the internment camps. I'll give them fluoride tablets because it made them more controllable, more complacent. One of my friends, I hope to God they don't do it, but she ran a daycare center, and this is probably maybe 6-7 years ago, and I told that to her. And she went, holy shit, we give fluoride pills to the kids at the daycare in San Diego to make them chill the fuck out. So, like, yeah, it's not prescription and it's not crazy like ADHD medication, but like it'll make them a little more controllable. Makes them chill out so that you can control the kids more. Like, it's unknown. Like, I don't know if there's a word for controllable as far as pharmaceuticals goes, but it's been used for over 100 years, for about 100 years for that. You know what I mean? The chemtrails that they spray in this guy. Like, let's fucking be. There's patents on it. If you guys think it's still a conspiracy, then that's the type of fucking person I'm talking about, where it's like, what's it gonna take for people to wake up? What piece of information am I gonna have to give you that will make you accept my reality and disown your own? Is there such a thing? Because a lot of the times, and you'll know this because you can ask yourself that. Try to convince your own mind on something you believe in, and you might be surprised to find out that you don't want to let go of your belief. You don't really want to find an answer as to why you're wrong. We actually, on the contrary, only look for answers that prove us to be right. It's sort of catch-22 sort of thing, you know? I've been investing in cryptocurrency recently. Misty Tooth Thoth, what up? Glad to see you back, man. Trump didn't care. Countercharge, I hate to fucking break it to you. Trump did not care. He might have cared on TV. As far as the archons are concerned, he was the good guy. This is what I'm saying. But we gotta look at everything, right? So what I'm saying is that this isn't about fucking everyone up there's corrupt. They're all or if not, they're not corrupt. They're being controlled by someone. If they're not corrupt, they're being puppeteered by someone because something's happening. Trump could have pardoned Snowden. It's Trump's all about let's make America great again. What are the values of America, at least that we're taught? Truth, freedom, freedom from oppression by government, freedom from oppression by religion, freedom of oppression. Um, and someone help me out. Trump pardoned some random fucking rapper. Like, look how hip I am. Look how much I care about the black community. I'm gonna free this black guy from jail. Like, first of all, maybe he belonged in jail. I didn't even know who the guy was. So I mean, was I supposed to look him up? Was I supposed to be like, oh, did he free an innocent man, or did he free a black icon so that like all the colored folk could be on his side? Like, what the fuck was that even about? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you free Snowden, the guy who has the information on Clinton, has the information on Obama, has the information on everyone? He cracked the fucking country, you guys. Snowden cracked the. You want to drain the swamp, Trump? You fucking kidding me? You want to drain the swamp? Free Snowden and put all of his information that he found on public records. I've, you, I'm not even the fucking president of the United States of America, and I had that one figured out pretty easily. You know what I mean? No, no. I'm sorry. Countercharge. I love you, man, woman. Like, I love you in a way that one could love another person as a human. But Trump did not fucking care. Like I said, think of Trump and Biden and all the presidencies and pretty much everything that we see on mainstream news as being a movie. So you watch, let's say, what movie would we watch? I don't know. Gladiator. So you have Caesar, who's the bad guy, and you have Maximus as the good guy. But when the movie, but Maximus is only the good guy because he was written into the script. He does all the good things. He says all the good things for the most part. He's portrayed as the good because he's not only portrayed as the good guy, he is the good guy of Gladiator. Maximus is objectively speaking the good guy. Caesar is objectively speaking the bad guy. But they're scripted that way. And then the movie ends, the curtains raised. Maximus is actually Russell Crowe, I think his name is. And Caesar's the other weird fuck who plays in all the M. Night Shyamalan movies. And neither one of them are good or bad. They're just people existing outside the movie. Trump may have done good things, objectively speaking, but what lasting change happened? There's a million different things that he could have done to drain the quote-unquote swamp. Like I said, like the 9/11 stuff and the Hillary stuff, and like freeing Snowden, who drained the swamp himself, but he's now now he's a traitor to the country for exposing the country's corruption. Do you guys realize what kind of next level fucking manipulative shit that is? That 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 the government convinced the people that it was a good thing to put Snowden to kill Snowden because he's a traitor. To be a traitor against the country is the death penalty. They convinced him that that it was bad that he exposed the government as a traitor and was going to be sentenced to death. And no one said shit. No one rioted in the streets. No one took up arms. No one marched on the Capitol. I don't even think people realize that that's even a thing, that he's currently got asylum in Russia right now. You know what I mean? So I don't buy it. I can't buy it that Trump was actually a good guy. I don't see it. I don't. Like I said, I see him as being a good guy in a movie, maybe, but not outside of the Matrix. He's still a part of that fucking system. I'm sorry. Um, I don't see it. Yeah, the poster's dope, huh? It's my mushrooms. But am I wrong about Snowden? Oh yeah, like I said, I mean the guy that he pardoned. I don't know how I'm wrong. Like I didn't say he didn't deserve pardoning. I just said did he or did he not deserve it. I feel like it was a publicity stunt. You got this black guy out of jail that was like an icon artist that people worship. It was like, oh, they freed our god. Our god has been freed. Whatever. He just did some gang banging. Like whatever. He just like stole a bunch of shit. It's not a big deal. Pardon him. You know what I mean? I don't know, or maybe he was good, or he was good. I don't know. Point being, like, if I was gonna pardon someone, I would pardon Snowden, the one who's gonna do the job that I've been talking about doing this whole time. You know what I mean? Like, he gave you just enough for you to be happy. That's my whole argument that I've been trying to make tonight. Like, okay, objectively speaking, let's say it was a good move that he pardoned the homie, but why not Snowden also? You know what I mean? I'm totally down for pardoning the homie, right? I'll be on your side for this and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say that it was a super good move that he pardoned homeboy. But why not also Snowden? You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, you have the opportunity. How many press conferences did he give to the country? He could have dropped some absolute bangers in on those press conferences, but he didn't do anything. And people were like, he's going to do it. Pretty soon, any minute now, he's going to do it. Like, he's going to do it. And then, oh, he didn't do it because Biden won. Like, just because Biden won, all of a sudden Trump can't can't drain the swamp. You know what I mean? So, like, imagine all the people who are with your train of thought. They're like, oh man, Trump lost the presidency. He can't expose the truth now. It's all Biden's fault. This communist. He's the bad guy. Look at all these bad things he's done. And he's give the eulogy at the Ku Klux Klan chapter starter. Like, he was mentor was a KKK leader. Like, oh, he was the bad one, not Trump. I'm pretty sure Trump could still drain the swamp from outside presidency just by exposing the truth on a massive scale. He didn't do it before. He didn't do it during. And he didn't do it after. He gave you just enough for you to be complacent and to be on his side, like in Gladiator, to where you go, okay, dope. Maximus, I like that guy. He was a good guy. He was the Caesar, fuck that guy. Ah, okay, anywho. Now on with my life. You know what I mean? Elizabeth John, we're pulling you a card. That's what we're talking about. He thinks the world is some movie where a president pardons someone who leaked the details of the NASA's activities. I think I think that someone was pardoned that leaked. No, I'm saying that he should be pardoned. I'm saying the gentleman should have been pardoned who leaked. So let me just clarify my statement. I do not believe Trump was a good guy at all because after thousands of chances to expose truth on a level never seen in this world before, for one being pardoning Snowden who leaked government corruption. Right? Trump claimed to want to drain the swamp, and he didn't do it. For example, Snowden is still in jail. That tells me right then and there that Trump has no intentions of doing any sort of dismantling of the swamp that he talked about. However, yes, 100%, I do think that it's all a movie and it's all a scam. 100%, without a doubt, without a doubt. Um, Anywho, I'm also not on Biden's side. So I hope you're not upset because you're like, this guy must like Biden. Like, no. I wasn't joking when I said that Biden gave the eulogy for a KKK minister because he did. like recently too. The guy just died and he get it's a Robert is it Robert Byrd or something like that. Anywho, this guy starts a chapter of the Ku Klux Klan in I think Tennessee, and he starts it. So he's the guy who's at Ralph's recruiting, like, hey, young strapping white man, you want to go kill niggers? Like he's like that guy, right? Like that's this dude's role. Starts a chapter, starts recruiting people. He's also a senator, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, later he goes on to renounce his old ways, but this was a mentor of Biden. Biden says, like, this guy's like a father to me. He raised me. He mentored me. And recently the dude died, and Joe Biden gave his eulogy. So, like, in a society that's as woke as it is about social injustices and inequalities, votes in president for this dude who, like, loved his mentor, the KK Clay minister, and gave his eulogy a couple years ago. But it's all good because he told everyone that he wasn't racist anymore. So it's all good now. Like, it's not even a big deal. Like, that's what I mean. And if it's not an actual movie like I'm saying it is, it's pretty. It's like it's obnoxiously close to being a movie. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking. It's just like tickling. It's just tickling the boundaries. You know what I mean? Giving a little, you know what I mean? Just right on the gooch. Just giving a little tickle. You know what I mean? It's hitting. It's hinting. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean. I'm sorry if I came in hot on you. Counter charge. I know people get fired up with politics, especially when you criticize their leader. To be fair, I was super on board with Trump. Pretty much, like, because I wanted to believe that he was going to drain the swamp, and like all the pedophilia stuff was coming to light, and people were supposed to be getting arrested, and like Hillary was on trial and like was actually gonna, you know, and the judge denied her claim to like get out of it. Remember, then her son got then the judge's son got blasted by the fake UPS guy, fucking 007 style. Like, it's like a movie. Anywho, I was like this. I was maybe Trump actually is killing it. All like he was doing all the stuff with black people. He was kissing black babies and shit, and like all the jobs for African Americans was like 4 times as much as the other presidencies. Like a lot of good stuff. Like I said, a lot of low key good stuff was going in that might make you think maybe this dude really is doing it. But at the end of it all, what happened? Nothing. And what were the really big pushes that Trump had for draining the swamp or for bringing to light the darkness? Like, what big leaps did he do? None. And now what talk on the street is there about him? Nothing. Because right away, the narrative is now Trump can no longer do it because Biden won. The truth doesn't just go into hiding because its spokesperson doesn't want to speak about it. Like, it comes out. The truth doesn't give a fuck if you're the president or not, is what my point is. It's like it's not like he can't drain the swamp from his position right now. If anything, he could probably do it easier because he's got more free time. He's got less eyeballs on him. Everyone's focused on Biden. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a little more space now. So he's probably do his job even better now than he could before. He was in the White House for 4 years. He got all the information he needed to do. Maybe he had to send out some ninjas and shit to gather paperwork from the basement sub-level. He did what he had to do. 4 years. So maybe, and what's happening? Are we getting tweets from Trump? Or is he still shut off? Maybe he's still shut off. They kicked him off. Tweeted, right? Anywho, it's just, It's all like it's all so convenient. I was like, oh, it's so we don't the truth isn't gone anymore because Trump's not president, so now we can't do good things anymore. Like, I just I, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird world out there. So I'm trying to say, wake up. I'm trying to like, come on, wake up. Grab a brush, put on a little makeup. Um, I think countercharge left. Oh, Heidi, you guys are fighting in the comment section. I'm coming back. Yeah, for sure. There's definitely going to be some animosity in this conversation. I'm literally coming in hot on politics. That's sort of like it was weird. The last presidential elect, as far as who it divided, was a really weird category because you had like as far as your surface level, like a very surface level, it was like bad guy Trump, good guy Biden. Like on the surface level, it was sort of bigotry. And then with the woke community, they were saying stuff like, no, it's actually Biden who's the bad guy and Trump who's the good guy for draining the swamp and exposing the corruption and pedophilia and weird things like that he was supposed to do, right? And so I couldn't talk on either side. Like I couldn't say I pissed everyone off if I said I'm not down for Biden, and then I pissed off like half of my woke side that thought that Trump was the savior and the good guy. And then like the other half of the woke side are the ones who were like, dude, this is all a fucking shit show game. Like, don't take any of it seriously. Love, take care of those around you. Turn off the fucking television. You know what I mean? Like, or like the classic woke. Like the classic woke people were like the ones who said, turn off the television. Who was it? Leary who said that? Who was like, tune in, tune out, or tune out, drop out, drop in, tune in, drown out. I can't fucking remember how it goes. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of this talk was I don't mean to only like criticize the people because I know a lot of people if you're responsible for yourself. I get that you're responsible for all your actions and you need to take responsibility for your life, the good and the bad, so that you can be in control of your life. But I also believe on the flip side that you can easily destroy someone's life regardless of how they go through the world. Like I don't know. I'm sure you guys can think, I don't want to go too dark on you, but I'm sure you can think of some examples where someone can influence your life negatively regardless of what you're doing. So I get that. It's like they're smart, dude. Like, what do you want? They're smart. The people who manipulate the masses they're intelligent people. Like Hildegard, to play devil's advocate to your point, Trump is not an idiot at all. I would say Trump is fucking brilliant. But people don't become. I would say, yeah, take that back. Trump played his role. Is what you guys got to realize. That's what I'm trying to tell you the whole time. This whole good cop, bad cop, is what the presidential candidacy is every time. You've seen the movies, right? That you go in, and one detective is super mean to you, and he like slams the book, and he's like, "Where were you last night?" And he's like freaking you out, and then his buddy comes in, and he's like, Dave, relax, Dave, Jesus Christ. Go get some coffee. Dave, go get some coffee. Calm down, all right? And then Dave walks out of the interrogation room, but just goes around the double-sided mirror. And then Steve is like, Dave is just, I'm sorry about that. Can I get you something? Some water, some tea? Hey God, could you take this guy's cuffs off? How long these cuffs been on you? Are they hurting? Are you treating this guy good? Are you? Anywho, you know what I mean? Like good, the old classic. But it's just a role they play so that they can get information out of the fucking the defendant. Like, do we not learn this as above? We don't learn this as above, so below shit, so that we can fucking have philosophical talks on YouTube. Like, we gotta start applying this shit to the real world. That's the whole point of studying um, spirituality, studying these things is not so that we can just read them on papers and stack them on our shelves as cool books that smell nice when they get wet. Like, we gotta apply this shit, and the whole world operates this way. You know what I mean? Like, it's all that's the beauty of it. And that's why I always tell you guys, like, we have to become life is chess. Some people are the pawns and some people are the kings. Some people are the rooks and some are the bishops. And some people don't realize that they can be different pieces. You don't have to be a pawn all the time. You can be a king. You don't have to be a king all the time. You could be a rook or a bishop. But the smartest person, wisest person goes, I can actually be the chess player, the player of the game, and guide all of the pieces. Maybe if I want to have a certain kind of experience, maybe I'll be a castle. Well, I think actually I'm tired of all this responsibility. It'd be interesting to be a castle for a little bit and just do castle things. I'm just going forward, just going left and right, backward, forward, left and right. That's all I got. Not making no funky L's. I'm not dropping off fucking at my laterals. You know what I mean? Like, he even resigned from the Actors Guild, Elizabeth John. See, that's interesting. Um, we are all too afraid to come off as crazy to our peers and the sheep. The Eljaya, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Eljaya. But you know what's strange? We're afraid to come off as crazy to our peers as we watch their leaders tell them we're bamboozling you, and then they still don't believe it. Like, that's the matrix. That you're the crazy one for pointing that out. Like, I'm the conspiracy theorist nut job for pointing out something as fucking as it is weird. It is hella weird. It is hella weird. um, Zero, what up? Sorry if I'm not keeping up with the guys' comments. I've been on quite the rant. Everyone slapped a like. Get people jumping. Also, I hope you guys are being smart with your money. Speaking of wake up, make your fucking money, please. Don't let them convince you that the entire material world is evil and you must avoid money because rich people are bad people and we must all be communists. The bourgeoisie are the reason this world is so shitty, and it's the common man must take pride in brotherhood and community and down with materialism. You all saw how well that's been going in Venezuela, in Ukraine, with the tens of millions that died right before World War II, and of everywhere basically that's been capitalist too. Like, right? I want to make sure that I'm touching all grounds here. Someone said that the frogs earlier were too loud. I hope the frogs aren't still too loud. A little bit, John. Elizabeth John. Mystic Apex. I know. I've been. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Slay, you guys. Take that. I was grinding this last week. I was super preoccupied with, um, as Richie put it so well one time. I'm tethering all my manifestations are being tethered to the physical plane, and this last couple weeks was me doing that. I was putting up my garden. I was doing my research on finances and cryptos and stocks and stuff so that I could familiarize myself with that realm of finance. And it's been going pretty well. So I've been like devoting time to studies in that. Um, I played a gig, so I was rehearsing for a gig that I had this weekend. That's slayed. I have an EP coming out on April 20th. 2 more days. I'm super stoked on that. I just been busy, but I'm back. I do miss having conversations with you guys. I feel like they're therapy, even though like, even though they upset some people. But yes, the truth can't hurt. But I see it. You can either run from it or learn from it. Where are you going? Not the stick. Where are you going? Going back home. Baha! Good. Go on, get out of here. Shit's real out here, folks. Did you get your vaccine? No. I'm not sure. I was probably rubbing it out of a self-conscious tick. I've learned to hide my stage fright when I go live and in person when I perform. However, they've been concentrated into certain ticks. So if I touch my arms or I play with my fingers, you know that I'm hiding something. Oh, wowzers. Hmm. My buddy rolled me a bunch of oreganos the other day, and he puts these filters on them, but they're not hitting, man. Oh, you gonna buy the EP Heidi Hildegard? Nice, thank you kindly. We ever gonna talk about Disney? I'm not well spoken in the way of Disney, but we can talk some Disney right now. Um, Erin Elizabeth, hello, how's it going? Trying to. If there's any pressing comments that I missed from you guys, just feel free to run them to me again. Smith, you're still here, whatever. Kimchi Gaming, whatever. These are real frogs. I'm surrounded by real frogs right now. Um, all right, I don't think I missed anything. Oregano. Yeah, right. First of all, I didn't even ask for filters. If you guys are wondering, no, I do not roll my own J's. I'm taking this off here, actually. I used to feel like less of a real connoisseur because I didn't roll my own J's, and it was always like a self-consciousness of mine. And now I'm like, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't got time to sit there and roll 50 J's. Are you kidding me? Like, and I don't even want to. Why am I gonna have 50 J's lying around? Say if I buy one of those big ones, it makes 50 at a time. No. Hey, I'll pay you an extra buck. Roll me a bunch. I'll pay a buck more on every J. Just roll me a bunch, dog. Handle it. I got shit to do. I'm growing empires out here. I have problems dishing out priorities of my empire to other people because I want to do everything myself because I want it done a particular way with a certain feel, a certain sort of swag and style. You know what I mean? So I can't just give that out to anyone. You know what I mean? It's also a bad habit because I can't do everything myself. So I've been, as a practice, I've been doing things here or there when I can, as like a way to psych myself out to get the momentum going for relinquishing some of the responsibilities for sake of distance. You know what I mean? So I thought Rolling J's is a good relinquishing of power to delegate to someone else. Like let that be momentum in the direction of the growth of your empire, right? Because we're talking law of correspondence here, sort of as above, so below type shit. And I like it. It's nice. I just got hella J's on deck all the time. It's great. This morning I burned about a third of one and watered the greenhouse, listened to some piano music, soaked the mushroom log, set up a new mushroom little tray, like little experiment I'm working. It was a great morning. You know what I mean? That I didn't have to spend rolling J's. I was just outside in the garden. Prasanna, what's cracking? Aaron, Elizabeth, real humans. It's sad that you consider this real humans. I mean, I feel you. Felt the same way. I was like, finally, I'm going live, and I get to like interact with people, like a lot, you know, have conversations, kind of have conversations. Not just to myself, but I know the digital world, man. It's tough, huh? It's tough because I too consider finally real humans on a screen. It's what it is, though. Just around the riverbed, I've heard what's more. Just around the riverbed, beyond the shore. Bowls are nice too, but I get weird throat problems, and so I can't. Um, Not that I can't, but the information was passed along that you should try your best to burn J's because you don't want to be messing with sitting water too long. Unless you're cleaning your rig constantly, you're basically just brewing the hell out of some pretty gnarly, potentially gnarly bacteria. Most people it doesn't bother, but like sensitive to shit. Sensitive. I'm a sensitive soul. Um, and so yeah, my buddy was like, dude, my doctor told me that because he sings, and he's like, my doctor told me that I shouldn't be burning rigs if I'm singing because it's gonna mess up my voice. So I do J's now. Are you still drinking worms poop tea? I was never drinking the worm poop tea. I feed that to the plants. And no, I haven't. I actually haven't made compost tea in a long time. My plants are very upset with me right now. I haven't made it in probably half a year. Mushrooms can end world hunger. Yeah, they can, dude. See, I like this guy. That's the type of conversations we need to be having. Like, if Trump would have went up there and said some shit like mushrooms can end world hunger, then I would probably back on Team Trump. Real talk. Real talk. I think I would be back on Team Trump if he said that. Where am I from? Southern California. Hello, one love. Just roll it, man. I beckoned for Agent Smith, thus he appeared. That's because you're tapped into the Matrix. That's what's happening, Elizabeth John. You're tapped in. I look once more, just around the river bend. La Chivita. Thanks for the Costa Rican sunbeams. I hope Costa Rica is nice and beautiful. I'm sad that it's as topsy turvy to travel these days as it once was. Oh, never mind. I won a mushroom contest, a giveaway, and it was a fat discount to this mushroom retreat where they taught you how to grow mushrooms. It was like a really super 10-day retreat, but it was actually in Guatemala, not Costa Rica. And I get my brother got COVID. He tested positive. I was living with him. I was for sure testing positive, and I had to get a shot to go. And it's just like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. JD, you got the worms? Nice, man. Get them going. Make them happy. Good luck, Elizabeth. Third Eye Cali, what up? South Central California? Yes, actually. South Central California. Ventura, California, if you know where Ventura is. Actually, proper, I live in Santa Paula now. But not many people have heard of Santa Paula. You might know. You should know Ventura if you know California. Whoa. That last one got me. Sea flower, no. I have not read the book Mushrooms, Molds, and Miracles. I'm scared of you. Why? Why are you scared of me? I was raised in Oxnard. If you actually know the cities over here, I was raised in Oxnard. Went to school, went to university in San Francisco. Moved back. Continued going to school in Santa Barbara. Lived in Santa Barbara for about a decade, like 9 years. And now I'm in Santa Paula. What? Heidi Hildegard? We're going to have to exchange notes. Heidi, hit me up. I would love to do some like trading with you. By the way, you guys, we're talking about portobellos. All right. Portobellos. We don't condone the use of any drugs on this channel, whether they are legal or not. Your own discretion should be used for all decisions you make. I'm here for entertainment only. That being said, Hildegard, we should definitely exchange prints. Can we do that? Can we exchange prints? I got, we can talk. Revolution? What you know about Revolution, One Love? Damn, Harley Huffman asked me a great question earlier. Sorry, Harley, I missed it. I'll write that one down for you next time, Harley. Sorry, I was reading comments. I missed a bunch of comments. I'm sorry, you guys. If I miss you guys' comments, especially during a rant, I don't mean anything by it. I just get in rants, and it's like, it's weird on YouTube if you can't, like, if I'm looking at the comments too long, like, oh, sorry, he's not entertaining me anymore, and they leave. Which I'm trying to be entertaining at least. I thank you guys for lending me your attention while I'm up here. Your continued support has been wonderful. We got 23 viewers in here. We're killing it. Decent chat rate of 4. It's better than usual. Got 23 likes. and 23. Like, we're killing it. You know what I mean? Like, thank you guys for supporting the channel. I love it. Um, I've been, whoops. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I've been putting a lot of my energy outside of YouTube lately because um, I'm really doubling down on building this like Eden out here. You know what I mean? Literal Eden, trees of various sorts on a piece of land with like a geodesic dome, just like a beautiful space. A sort of if you build it, they will come kind of project. And I was always hoping that YouTube would be a outlet for that. Like, I'd grow this big YouTube following, and I'd get a bunch of money off the ad revenue, and I'd make plugs, and I'd be able to like do the things. But the growth on YouTube is hella slow, and it's like you got to do weird things, sort of as a YouTuber, to get. Not always, but it's a really easy to do it to do like weird, unnecessary things to get more followers, like shit that you don't like, as a YouTuber, you don't really want to do. Like, you don't want that to be the way that you get famous. You know what I mean? Um, I still do things like that every once in a while. I'm like, fuck it, I'll throw some clickbait stuff, or I'll do word something a certain way, or do something a little extra to carry the video. You know what I mean? Guilty. Um, Anywho, yeah, that's why I've been shifting away from YouTube because I'm trying to again tether shit to the physical plane here and now and making bread here and now ways outside of YouTube. So it's like, but it's also nice at the same time because I would rather make YouTube videos when I don't feel pressured to do it because I need to make ends meet. It's a catch 22. That's not even a YouTube thing. It's just fucking welcome to being a human being. Where's the balance? Like, how much of your soul can you sell to get something? A little bit. So we all do. You know what I mean? Like, don't think that selling your soul is just something you do where you sign it on the dotted line and you go from 100% soul to 0% soul. It's like not that. It's chips away, a little bit of soul here, a little bit of soul there. This conversation that you had that you shouldn't have, this way you acted that you did that you probably shouldn't have, and it's just that story where we have a bad wolf and a good wolf living inside of you, and he goes, "Well, Grandpa, which one wins in the end?" And the grandpa goes, "The one that you feed in the end wins." And it's like, oh my god, it's kind of like that. So we're all sort of given aware. So anyway, um, say, oh yeah, we've been grinding in the real world hard, and as a result, I don't have to put so much strain on the YouTube channel to make ends meet, which will do two things: less content, but I feel like content that'll be a little closer to home. You know what I mean? A little closer to like something that feels good throughout the process and the finish, and not just the finish. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to just live for the finish, because the finish comes and goes in the blink of an eye. You know what I mean? I want the process to be worthwhile. That's the thing that keeps you going, and that's the midnight oil that you burn. You know what I mean? Greetings from Dubai. What's up, Dubai Silk Route? Dubai. We get quite a few people on the channel from Dubai. What up, fam? Does that mean they got to go to Dubai? You got to go. I would love to go to Oman. I would love to go to Oman and visit the frankincense forests. And Yemen too, to see the frankincense fields. But I feel like Yemen's pretty gangster right now. I don't know if I'm that gangster, but I would like to go to Oman if you're even still here. Um, so, what's my real name? Isn't my real name on the show? My name is Keith. My name is Keith. And I just turned 33 on the 13th. I hit my Jesus year. What up? Seaflower, your first time on the channel. Will introduce yourself, Seaflower. Say hello. How are you doing? How did you find us? Why are you staying? You should try iBreathe the app and Twitch. I could. I don't really want to do more things on social media than I'm already doing too. That's also another thing. Um, to run a successful social media channel, you got to be fucking on it. Like you got to be posting every day. It's got to be super quality. I know some people are up there going like you'll hear what's his name, fucking Gary V talks a big game. Oh, it just doesn't matter. Just put out content. Doesn't matter. Keep putting it out. It's like that's miserable. That is a miserable life for 90% of the population to just throw a ridiculous. Like it's got if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it well. Like if you want to go far with it, like you gotta put time. You gotta make it your baby. You gotta coax it out a little bit. You know what I mean? You gotta talk to it. You gotta let it know that you know what's there and that you see it. You know what I mean? I see you. It's like you gotta love it. I only got so much love to give with fucking social media, man, because social media for doesn't necessarily give me a lot of love back. Like it's especially that Instagram. I feel like this past month, it's almost been a palpable anxiety from the need to check. I think I there was twice today where I instinctively opened my phone and opened Instagram and started to swipe, and I stopped myself mid swipe and I shut the app off. And I was like, first of all, why the fuck did I do that? I didn't even think about doing it. Um, and second of all, why did it feel so good to turn it off? It was like a Pandora's box every time, and you just like your attention and your life force just gets directed to the phone and sucked into IG, and then you come out of it like, where the fuck was I for the past 10 minutes? Um, and that's what I mean. Like, and so people are like, "Oh, dude, you gotta try this new app," and like, "Oh, dude, you gotta try no this one." It's like we gotta get you on Facebook Live too. It's like, fuck, really? Like I gotta do all that be successful in this fucking world. So, again, I'm talking my demeanor. Keith Garcia's demeanor is what I'm giving you the example of. By all means, boo boo, you might handle Instagram and fucking slay. There are millions of you out there who can juggle a bunch of social medias, do it with a genuine smile on their face, and slay. But I found that I'm not that person, at least not yet. So I've learned to stay in my lane, and sort of lately is double down on. We might crash right now. Oh, and double down on what I'm good at. And then maybe when I start to coast on my current endeavors, then I can start picking up tack on Twitch. I know Twitch is good. Maybe get on Facebook. I hate Facebook, but the market on Facebook is wild. If you're trying to start a company, whether the company is genuinely angelic or genuinely demonic, Facebook is big enough to where you can handle whatever. So like I get like I see the benefits in them all. I'm with you guys. I hear you loud and clear, basically. Um, but yeah, you could be Jesus Christ. Hardly, barely over by like a minute. Wait, what? Oh, Heidi Hildgard, 33 as well. Wait, what? Oh, nice. Nice. You look like you could play Jesus. I probably could. I probably could. Good thing for all of us, though, that I'm not quite convinced Jesus was a real person. However, I believe that the introduction of the Christ avatar is a glorious thing. And the cool thing about avatars is that we can all step into them. We're all the Jesuses that we've been looking for. That's what TikTok feels like. I know that's what all social. It's YouTube is probably my favorite social media app, but and mostly to do because it's not really a social media app. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's not at all. It's just you just upload videos, um, which is nice because I don't stare at other people's lives and like have this sort of back and forth judgment on YouTube. I'm like Anunnaki secrets revealed 2021 enter, and I'm watching shit like that. You know what I mean? Or um, the other night I was listening to Goosebumps audiobooks. So I was just laying in the dark listening to Goosebumps audiobooks, super nostalgic throwback. I felt like the most comfort and peace in the darkness listening. It was wonderful. You know what I mean? I was listening to like guided meditations or frogs on the background music. You know what I mean? So I feel like the thing I love about YouTube is that you build like that's where the inspo comes from to build the world from what people like the cool shit that people are up to. It sucks that they're a bunch of commie bastards with how they run their shit. YouTube, I'm talking to you. Um, but whatevs. We're in the age of Aquarius, baby. This is how we connect, or at least one of the ways that we connect, I should say. One of the probably we gotta get used to it. We gotta master the machine, not be mastered by it. So good luck. Do you feel that us being able to step into that avatar ails us with stroking our ego? Um, no. Well, yes and no. Well, it's 10:43. 143. Um, no, the Jesus. I would even argue that Jesus was a little more on the egotistical. Not egotistical isn't bad, but like just of the ego. And I don't think the ego is bad at all. I think the ego is just your lens. Actually, I don't think I know. That's what your ego is. You guys, your ego is just your lens. That's it. No more, no less. It's like, hey, what kind of lens you got in that camera? Ooh, I got a this kind of lens. Oh, dope. You should try this lens. Oh, really? Yeah, look at the picture through this lens. Oh, this is super dope, right? You were the thing doing the looking through with the camera, and the lens is just that ego. So, um, Jesus, because he was all about the self, right? Like self love, self care. God is within the self, heaven is inside of you. So it's very self, and the self is ego because self is singular, ego singular. Remember, ego does the focusing thing, it takes all the infinite and it focuses it into a single point of view. Right, so that's ego, that's focus, that's one, that's the self. So the ego, Jesus was like, God is self, God is self. Um, so that would be a little more egotistical in the like most basic definition of the world, just referring to and of the ego. Of course, the egos can get out of hand. You attach when you think you are the ego. That's when shit gets weird. And so when people talk bad about the ego, it's not that the ego is bad; it's the relationship to the ego. Like, chill, homie. You're not. You're not the eyes. You're the thing seeing through the eyes. Um, yeah, Jesus definitely, but like I don't know. It's weird. There's not much on Jesus is the thing too. You know what I mean? He's got 12 disciples, but only 4 books in the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So there's only 4. So Jesus only gets 4 chapters for canonized Catholicism. We'll say you get Jesus gets 4 chapters, and somehow we've extrapolated from those 4 chapters the ability for Jesus to reign king over the planet, basically. Um, and on top of that, all On top of only having 4 books compared to like the Odyssey. Like think of some of they call them epics for a reason because they're stupid long that talk about these mythological creatures. Like there's the Norse pantheon and the Egyptian pantheon. Like there's tons of fucking stories. Jesus only gets 4 chapters in the biggest book ever, and all those 4 chapters are the same story, just from 4 different perspectives. So like I guess again to answer your question, who fucking knows? Like who knows what Jesus if he was even real, who knows what he was really like? We know that his first act of Jesus was turning water to wine and he was only like 12 or 13 years old, which is homies. That's a selfless act because he's sharing with the squad, but like homeboy was clearly showing off. He's a we're out of wine. He's all, hey, don't even worry about it. Now he's all try the water. No, he's all try the water, fam, and they try the water. And he's all boom, and it's wine. That's pretty. I feel like that's a pretty boss move. I'd call that egotistical. He's all, what up, bitches? My name's Jesus. Invite me to the next gathering. You know what I mean? Please don't crucify me. Please don't. Hey, we're cool. Please don't crucify me. Here's a bunch of free wine. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I probably didn't answer your question at all. Um, More in on the Matrix. Be more specific, One Love. What in particular? Have you ever experienced any type of supernatural powers? I wish. What? Are you trying to like reverse engineer if I'm Jesus or not? Um, um, Bummer. I thought I was gonna get this week off of work. I'm not. Where was I? No supernatural powers. Not that I know of. Though I would argue any skill that you wish you had that you decide to develop and develop well, that's a superpower. You know what I mean? The ability to develop it and then the ability to obtain that power are both actually superpowers. Because a lot of people don't realize that we want superpowers because we want to be able to accomplish impossible feats, more or less. That's why we want superpowers, so we can do cool ass shit. But we forget the simple sort of superpowers like finish, like the ability to finish a project through and finish it strong is a superpower that almost nobody has. No one. But okay, you think of finish and it's like, no, I'm thinking of super something, but it is a fucking super something to feel like. Think of Elon Musk. He's that that is a human that sees shit through, and whatever they do, you know what I mean. To be intently focused on something to where you give it all of your mind, body, and soul, to tether that bitch to the physical realm. You're meditating on it, you're acting on it, you're speaking on it, you're learning on it, you're developing a character trait that you did not have yesterday. You are now you 2.0. You are super you by developing talents and traits and characteristics and things like that. And like that was what we just learned in that book. Oh my god, if you guys didn't see our live videos, our live readings from Your Forces and how to use them, go back and watch them. They're on my YouTube channel and they're all numbered from like part 1 to 20 or something like that. It took us half a year to finish, but fuck, that book was amazing. It was written like over 100 years ago. It was so good. All about developing the self, all about unlocking or funneling energy into latent channels of our powers, if you will, which are those character traits that we want, like consistency, like creativity, like open-mindedness, like closed-mindedness. um Whatever, like everyone's at different places in their life, and everyone needs different salads to eat. Some need it, and some need it to be dark, some need it to be light. Like, stop fucking worrying about the good or bad in the big sense of the word. Think about good or bad in the little sense of the word. Like, is this necessary in your life right now? Yes, cool. Carry on, my wayward child. You know what I mean? Is it not necessary for you at this point in your life? Then take it out. It's as simple as that. There's no need to judge it or to be overly invested in it or to try to make other people do what you're doing. Like, uh, they're superpowers, man. And it may not be as cool as the comics. It may not be as cool as the YouTube videos. It may not be fucking astral projection at will or lucid dreaming at will or instant manifestation because of the moon water that you did, that you ran last month, which you should run, by the way. You should definitely run some moon water. It's because I sat down one day and realized I lacked something. I had the knowledge to realize that there was lack, that there was room for improvement, and then the belief to move forward and the finish to close the deal. And like, those things are attainable, but they will give you a life that a superhero would live. Is is the cool part. Like, it's not as sexy, but it's wholesome. You know what I mean? It's wholesome. Mm-hmm. Reading guys' comments, my man. Invite him in. With how the ego is just a focal point of infinite personalized. Yeah, heretical on the ego. Yeah, it's so back to the ego thing for heretical dorbs. The healthiest, of course, like what I say is an ultimate truth. I speak with passion and conviction because it feels like it for me, but I'm always wrong. There will not be a day on this planet where I don't do something wrong. So, like, of course, have your own input on what I'm about to say. There's a bunch of different variations and versions of what the ego is from prominent members in the community. But my personal, most useful at this point in my life definition for the ego is simply a thing that gives a certain type of awareness. So there is there there is an awareness of a rock. Like, a rock exists, therefore it must have a certain type of awareness. You know, whether it's even if that's just the atoms floating around, or the electrons floating around the atoms. There's some life. There's something going on. Egos are complex, like a human ego. Egos are simple, like, say, the ego of a tree, or the ego of a dog. You know what I mean? And when we're in a, say, like, we're in a dream state, our lens is obscured, right? Because we're a little more in the subconscious, where things, they are and they are not. So remember, the ego is something that gives form. I would consider the ego masculine, something that it just focus. It gives definition to a thing. Where the subconscious, the feminine, is the pure potential. Like, it can be it because it's not defined. It can be anything. And so, I guess you could say the ego is the lens, the masculine lens, and then the feminine is that pure potential. And then combined, you take the pure potential and you give it definition. In other words, you mix masculine and feminine together, and you get a thing in the physical dimension. from mind, body, spirit kind of thing. Um, and that's it. Like that's all the ego is. And you can switch lenses, so you know what I mean? Like Keith is an ego. Keith Garcia is an ego or a lens. But when I pass on to my next incarnation as something else, I will be the same soul, more or less, with a different lens, you know. Unless I figure out how to reincarnate like Thoth, and I just choose when I want to pass on. Excuse me. I feel like my brain is. brain is. Was that confusing? I thought my definition for the ego was actually the simplest definition out there. Like it's just a that does that make sense? Is there anything that I needed to clarify with the ego or my thoughts on it? That's why I always have heavy criticisms on YouTubers. Or it's mainly I would say mainly found it in YouTube who hate on the ego, like how to drop your ego, how to kill your ego. We must kill the ego. It's bad. I would agree that it's useful to kill the ego because, as a reminder that you are more than it. But but it itself is just fine. Dude, like I like experiencing the world through my eyes, like with my experiences and what I find attractive and what I like and what I hate. Like it's it's a cool experience. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't be having it without an ego. Because if there's no ego, I would be like just a I would be in the ether floating around. I wouldn't even be I. There would be nothing having a conversation. I'd be a thought, in other words, without the ego. I think I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. Is it mosquito season? What the hell's going on? Um, but yeah, don't listen to the naysayers that hate on the ego. Um, the ego's fine. The ego's chill. I would argue that part of the conversation that's criticizing the ego and masculinity in general is part of this plot to make people more controllable. Um, and passiveness is preached a lot um, in all of its forms. Going with the flow, there being no such thing as good or bad. Like a lot of stuff in the spiritual community is starting. It has been making me seriously consider how some of the topics come to trend, and if that's not some kind of um, what's that movie? That super creepy movie where they astral project and to get stuck in the other side of the movie. Hell, Insidious. Never mind. Yeah, Hild said it right. We need the ego. It's a blend. I don't know. This conversation's always weird because like the politically correctness has infiltrated the spiritual community, and it's made conversations like this weird. I tend to get these weird private messages after videos like this where I talk about passiveness and masculine and feminine and like there's no such thing like it's masculine or feminine. It's just like there's no such thing as good or bad. It's all relative, and it's like that. Those thoughts are dangerous. You know what I mean? because yes, there's no such thing as good or bad. You know what I mean? Like, kind of. Um, and you guys may be more used to the phrase "wherever you are is where you're supposed to be." You know what I mean? Or you're exactly where you need to be right now. Like, don't worry if bad things are happening. Everything's working. Like, there's a divine plan. Or like, it's all okay because there's no such thing as good or bad. Like, that conversation is a dangerous one. It's a super dangerous one. Always be that's sort of always passive, always wish washy, always, because what happens is if you don't have a definition for good or bad, then you're easily controlled, because no matter what happens, you won't speak up about it because you've convinced that well, this isn't bad, this is actually for my own good. Like, that's a pretty fucking twisted, manipulative strategy if it were to happen from like one human taking care of another human and being like, because then you can take advantage of that person. Like, say you're dealing with a child, like a pure innocent child, and you convince them that there's no such thing as good or bad. I mean, convince them, like, brainwash a child to believe that. Then you could do whatever you wanted. That you could take his candy, you could smack him around, punch him, and you could treat him like shit. And he would think that that's the way the world is because you made him believe that there's no such thing as good or bad. Like, he is where he should be. Like, no, it doesn't matter how bad things are, you're exactly where you should be. And it's like, if you made a bunch of dumbass decisions, then yeah, you're where you should be. But like, that doesn't make it okay. You like, make better decisions so that you don't find yourself in shitty situations that you have to say things like, it's okay that I'm where I'm at. Like, again, you can be in a shitty space because someone treated you like shit, right? I do believe that you can be a great person and something bad can happen to you because free will, baby. Um, it's just the conversation's unbalanced, is what I'm saying. Like, 100%, there's times to be passive in the feminine, in the subconscious, in the pure potential, and sometimes it's good to be well defined, not potential, but extremely focused. I'd say damn near or at least a majority of the time, it should be a blend of both. Like, that's how you make a baby. You need a man and a woman. You need masculine and feminine coming together to create something. You know what I mean, but we're so polarized by design that it's like you're either pro or anti. Like, you know what I mean? There's very little talk of balance or how both things exist in both situations, and that's why I say when it comes to good or bad, you should definitely focus on like your immediate situation for determining good or bad. Um, yeah, I could be like, I'm not working today. I'm taking the day off. Um, and it'd be like, well, that was actually a good thing in the long run because if you would have worked that day, you would have sprained your ankle and you wouldn't have been able to work for 2 weeks. Like, you could make that argument and you would be right. It could be a good thing that you took today off, but like we can't live our lives like that. You know what I mean? We can't live our lives doing whatever the fuck we want and being like, this could be a good thing. Like, it might work. It might, but then you're just a leaf in the wind. You're what you're saying is, I hope the wind happens to blow in the direction that I want to go in, which is a ridiculous mindset. You know what I mean? There has to be some general direction that you're aiming for, and that general direction that you're aiming for is your masculine. We talk about the law of gender in the Hermetics and the old Kemet philosophy is both. You know what I mean? Um, oh yeah. So the masculine is the direction, and then the feminine would be everything that happens in between, all the wild experiences, all the oddball things that come, all the chaos that happens in the middle. That's the feminine. Like, anything and everything can happen. That's the beauty of the feminine. It's just fucking pure potential. And your masculine guides the pure potential. It's like, all right, like, you don't want to control it too much, because if you control the feminine too much, then it loses the raw power. So you kind of just want to like that way, and it just fucking tears. It just tears a hole through fucking time space in that direction. You're like, you gotta reel it in this way. Like, no, we're gonna go a little bit to the right. You reel it in, and it just fucking tears through time space in that direction. That's like the controlled chaos, right? That's the masculine and feminine. That's the yin and yang, and that's what we need to pretty much do anything in life, right? Don't let them criticize the masculine. Don't let them criticize the feminine. Don't let them criticize the ego, but don't let them criticize the subconscious, the etheric. You know what I mean? They all play their role. It's an unhealthy relationship to these things where we lose ourselves in them. When we feel like when we feel like the game is real, is where shit. That's when it goes south. That's when it goes south. But it's getting late. It's 11 o'clock over here, and I would like some snacks. So I'm gonna go eat some snacks. It's my neighbor's dog. Anywho, goddesses, mystic, persona data, does sea flower, Yatslbadon. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out and joining. I appreciate the hell out of you. And I'll see you in the next video. All right. All right. Peace out.